Okay, so similar to a previous project, I think it's a cool idea to kind of piece together some of my favorite photographs from Max Aguilera-Hellweg. I just think he's a really, really interesting photographer and photojournalist, and he captures images that are different than what you immediately think of when you think of photojournalism. And I think that's kind of special. I think he's got something going for him, and it's just like he has like this sort of vibe to him that's like, it's sort of eerie, it's sort of mysterious, it definitely targets a specific audience, I would say, because his work is not for the queasy, not for the skittish, I guess you could say. Nothing that he takes is very gory or anything like that, but I guess just going over some images, I thought it would be kind of cool to state my opinion and how each image made me feel and what emotions really were brought out when I looked at these images, because I don't know, I feel like I talked a lot about him as a photojournalist in part 1, so part 2 I would kind of like to discuss how it feels to be a viewer and somebody looking at his artwork. Okay, first off, we have the image called The Sacred Heart. It is exactly how it sounds. It is a pretty graphic picture of what looks to be an open heart surgery or something of that nature. You see the retractors opening up the skin and just seeing that cavity, and it's just I don't know, like, I am just like impressed. I think this is so cool, and I understand, like, I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to medicine and all things like that, and I know not everybody would like this image, but for someone who is just in awe of, I guess, all things medicine and all things surgical, to narrow it down a little bit, it's just a cool image. It makes me like inspired in a way. It makes me want to finish my career. It wants me to, like, I don't know, it makes me feel like something deep down, that it makes me think like I am not done yet. I need to continue my education. I need to be looking at this firsthand someday. So yeah, so that's the first image. Secondly, we have sort of an interesting photograph here. We have one of robotics and how that can play a role in Max's gallery of images. We have the robot on the table. You see the wires coming out of his head, but a very human looking face and facial structure, and even the eyes are like, I don't know, they look kind of, I guess, leaving me kind of speechless just looking at this image. It evokes kind of like a where are we in society kind of feeling and emotion. Just seeing how human-like the scientists and robotics and engineers and basically people are just getting these robots to look so realistic that for me personally it's a little terrifying, if I were to say so. I mean, even down to the complexion and the mole on the robot's temples. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of jaw-dropping in a sense how this image makes you feel when you look at it. I mean, I think everybody, like I said with the open heart, everybody kind of has like their own emotions while looking at these, and this one kind of freaks me out, if I leave it bluntly. Alright, the third image we're looking at, titled Still Life, is an image of somebody under anesthesia, it looks like. This one you kind of have to dig a little bit. It doesn't exactly, I don't know, the way that he plays with the light and how the light solely focuses on the patient as well as some hands around. It's kind of interesting. I'd say I'm intrigued. I want to know more. I want to know what type of surgery is this guy having. I want to know how long has he been under. I want to know, is he having any complications? I want to be in that operating room, and this photograph makes me want to dig deep. It makes me want to be there. It kind of makes me feel like I'm there. Again, with the way that the light is playing a role in this image. Like how some operating rooms, they keep it dark, especially for the laparoscopic surgeries and things like that. They need the computers and stuff to be the only thing illuminating the room. And this like almost makes it feel like I am here with the way that he is portraying this patient. I think it's really cool. Okay, so this image is a little bit different for him. Aguilera-Hellweg, he tends to capture moments, and I think that's what makes him, I believe he mentioned that in his National Geographic interview, that he likes to take the experiences. But this image is a little bit different. So this looks more like it's set up. It's still following his kind of mantra, I would per se. I don't know, his theme, I guess, that he has going on with medicine and all that. It's still that eerie vibe, and he's playing with the light again. How that light really captures, what the viewer is supposed to be looking at, and kind of making the background dark and I guess a little intimidating, one may say. But we see a skull, the brain, a heart. We see the bones on the table. Looks like a femur, if I can see that well. My eyes kind of fail me. But just some really cool stuff. I mean, the almost like Halloween-y, I want to say. And then if we look closely in the background, we can actually see some tools that it looks like might be used in an operating room, and maybe some teeth on the table, if I'm seeing that correctly. And just like that eerie feel, I'm really getting this feeling from his images, from his photographs, and it's it's pretty cool. I mean, I know photojournalism can tell stories from all over the world, from millions of different perspectives, and I think he has a cool perspective on medicine and, you know, with the robot, where medicine could be going, and where, you know, the world could be headed towards. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So for our last image we are going to be diving into, it is another sort of, I guess, eerie photograph. So we have the patient on the table, and we have the doctor or surgeon. It looks like some sort of laparoscopic tool, but again, the way that he plays with the light and in the background, how it's all, you know, dark, and it honestly looks like Frankenstein is gonna, you know, appear on the table of the surgeon. But just the way that this is captured, I mean, the wires hanging over, you have the oxygen tubing under the patient's nose, the tools, the screen showing what the surgeon is seeing. I just find this really interesting, and it makes me want to know, like, how he took these photos. Like, it doesn't quite seem like these are just, you know, staged for the photograph. Like, it feels like you are in this operating room with the surgeon, with the patient, and even with Max Aguilera, and it's just really cool. I mean, I keep saying this is so interesting to me, and I know this is not for everybody. I know these are a little dark, a little eerie, a little, could be scary. I mean, everybody finds these images in their own way, but for me personally, I'm just like in awe over these images. I find them to be powerful, and I find them to sort of draw awareness to certain subjects. I mean, this last image with the patient and the surgeon on the operating table was used to highlight a health special about cancer with Time magazine. And just the way that these images are used is truly something special. And I think Aguilera-Hellweg is on to something here. I fear that there is not enough medical photojournalists in the world, and that's just my opinion. But for someone who is really interested in medicine and, you know, the entire world surrounding it, I find his work to be spectacular. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate this whole semester, and I hope you have an amazing summer.